I'm a 36-year-old man who's going to sleep with the lamp on. What does that tell you? What's going on, guys, and welcome to my review of The Boogeyman. Thank you so much, guys, for clicking here. I really do appreciate it. So The Boogeyman tells the story of this family who is taunted by this supernatural being who takes kids, called the Boogeyman. So this is a movie that's kind of been on my radar because I go to so many movies and I watch so many previews. Of course, I was going to be privy to this. I remember watching the 2005 version with my cousin all those years ago, back when that came out. I remember being somewhat impressed of it, but I can hardly remember a thing about it. They made 3 of those, the first one being the biggest one out there, but I remember vaguely maybe this much of it, but I remember being impressed enough to buy it on DVD. So there's that, but I can't remember a thing about it. So whenever it came to this one, whenever I heard that they were redoing it again, I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a shot, because my track record with horror movies other than like Evil Dead and slashers hasn't really been that good, like especially dealing with supernatural flicks. But I rolled into this with, somewhat high expectations. I'm still lenient. I'll still give movies a try no matter how I feel. I always say, just try it out yourself. You never know. Be your own critic. That's what I always tell people. So, rolling into this, I had low expectations. I didn't know what to expect. And I gotta say, a little bit impressed. Was it perfect? No. But it wasn't what I expected. I actually expected to like it a little less than I did. So starting off with the positives for The Boogeyman, I gotta say, the family dynamic, the ones that this movie revolves around, it was actually quite interesting. You have this grieving father and his 2 little girls. You got an older sister and a younger sister who just deals with great tragedy and loss in their life prior to the events of this film. And you see all the loss and the grief and the tragedy that they've been through, and just the all-out loss that they had to handle and with going forward. And I thought it made for an interesting character arc. That's what I wanted. In any movie, especially dealing with something like this, you want to have like some sort of good character arc to try to get you invested in everything. And that's what these characters did. Like I said, you have this grieving family that's suffering this really huge loss, and you just feel their loss. And that's something I definitely got behind. And that's throughout this whole entire movie, I was thinking to myself, damn, this is pretty messed up. This is something that I could get behind because I got invested in the characters. And that's definitely something that this movie brought. I really did like the characters. I'm not going to get into names, but all the performances did really well. I liked the way that the Boogeyman looked. Again, I have no recollection of the 2005 version. I know I've seen it, but it's been probably since then since I watched it. Not that I've thought that movie sucked, because as I mentioned, I bought it on DVD back when that one came out. But it's just been a while since I've seen it, so I can't remember a thing about it, so I can't really compare. Instead of telling you that I went and seen it with my cousin. But I did find the Boogeyman in this one to be quite intimidating. Now, not to compare it to the monster that was in Smile, which we got last year, but it did kind of remind me of that just a little bit. And I could have put this in the mix, but the way that they presented the Boogeyman himself was actually pretty cool. I like the design. I won't get too much into it. I watched the trailers. It may have showed it, like you see people drawing it and stuff, but I won't get too much into detail because I feel like there'd be spoiler territory there. But I like the way it looked. It was pretty freaky. It was pretty spooky. It wasn't afraid to show like its actual, true self. And I dug that. I really did dig that. The jump scares in this, and I've harped on this with horror movies in the past, that they haven't really been that strong. But in this one, it actually counted. There was jump scares here and there, that I actually did freak out a bit. And that's a rarity. Again, like I said at the beginning of this review, this is one of those movies that's kind of a surprise to me. It's kind of a shock knowing that I actually liked it as much as I did. I rolled into this not expecting much, and it's just the way that the movie was presenting itself, as an entirety. It was actually pretty good. The Boogeyman is one of those urban legends, I guess you could call it, where kids always fear what's hiding in the closet or under the bed. And that's basically what this is. It's the Boogeyman. I mean, what else could it be? But, it's just one of those movies that I was actually kind of surprised about. And like I said, get back to the jump scares. Sorry, I'm doing this noteless. I didn't do any notes, but I know exactly what I want to say about this. This is actually going to be one of those easier reviews to do. But it's just, the jump scares was actually done pretty good. It was done right. It actually made me jump. And it actually knew the job that it was doing, unlike a lot of other horror movies that I've seen. So that was done right. Kudos to that. I like the whole atmosphere, the way the movie looked, the way the movie was shot, the cinematography, the coloring, and all the night scenes when all the spooky stuff was happening and with the monster, the supernatural being. And it was very cool to look at. Director Rob Savage, that's the only thing I can remember who done this movie. The director did a really good job. I don't know of many other movies that he's done. I really should look that up. I should have looked that up before this review, but freak it. But I think he did a really good job, with the direction of this film, of this movie. I liked what he did. I liked what he put in. So just all around, just look and feel of this movie was done pretty good. It's what I wanted to see in a horror movie. Now, like I said, I don't have much grievances with this movie. But the only negatives I have, which is only two, and they may be considered nitpicks or a me thing, but then again, other people might say the same thing. So as we dive into my negatives, there was a portion of this movie to where you have the friends of the older sister come over to the house, and you see them sprinkled out throughout this movie to where, as the scenes played on, I really didn't think it was quite all that necessary. I didn't really think that it helped the movie along, it helped the story along. I felt like it was just there to, add a few extra minutes to the film. It just felt like it just dragged the movie on, and it just felt unnecessary. Whenever that portion of the movie was going on, I wish it would have just focused on the family and their tragedy and their dealances with this creature. Just solely, and that's it. That whole friends thing where they came over to the house and it was showing at the school, and that one scene where the friend drove the older sister to that house trying to figure out what this thing was, that she could have just walked there, firstly. And secondly, I just don't really think that portion of the movie was just useful. It was just kind of pointless. So there's that. And last but not least, for my final negative, there's this ongoing trope that seems to happen a lot in movies like this, to where you get a call from somebody who's dealt with this in the past, to where they claim that they know how to beat this thing, they know how to kill it, will end this evil once and for all. Damn this, that, and blah, blah, blah. It just gets a little bit infuriating because they made so many movies with this same trope in it, to where it's never going to be that easy, it's never going to be that simple. And whenever it does happen, whenever that scene happens, and everything goes down exactly how you imagined it, it gets a little tiresome. As soon as that scene came up, and that scene played out, I was thinking to myself, oh, okay, I didn't know that was going to come. It's never going to be that easy, folks. Just, come on, use some common sense. Especially with dealing with a creature like this. It's just ongoing, and it gets a little bit infuriating. It gets a little bit tiresome. Just skip to the part to where, okay, you don't know how to beat it, okay? Just move on, find another way, and stop claiming it. Just that simple. This happens over and over and over, and it just gets real tiresome. To the point to where whenever those scenes play out, just like I did in this, to where I was like, oh yeah, I didn't see that coming before. So all in all, guys, I think this movie was actually a pretty damn decent horror flick. Like I said, it's one of those that I wasn't expecting to like. I wasn't expecting to like at all. But now, looking at it, I was definitely wrong. It's definitely one of those that is actually pretty decent. You know, is it something that I'll rewatch again? Probably, if I rent it. Might not buy it, but if I rent it, I'll definitely, give it a try again if I'm with friends or family. So if you're somebody who wants to have a good enough time, go check this thing out, possibly with family and friends. It's not a bad movie. It's a happy accident. So, The Boogeyman, what was your thoughts on it? Have you seen this thing yet? Are you a fan? Are you a fan of the old 2005 version and its sequels? Or are you a fan of this new one? Leave me a comment down below and give me your thoughts. Thank you so much, guys, for watching this. I really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, comment, and share. And make sure to click that bell icon, as always, so you don't miss a thing. I mean it. I mean it. And I will see you on the next one. Peace.